Hello, thank you for watching this YouTube video today. Today we will be going over the spell Split Arrow and how to maximize it for your character. Split Arrow is kind of unique in the sense that it basically is an attack and a bow ability that when you use it, it launches arrows in the direction that you're pointing. If you use it right in front of you, the arc of the arrows will be a lot larger. If you use it further away from you, the arc is going to be a lot smaller and more focused. You can augment this ability just like any other ability by doing different things with support gems. The interesting thing to note is it is an attack and a bow skill, so most things that deal with attacks and projectiles are going to affect this ability. Anything that deals with melee will probably not. So, we'll start off with doing LMP. Normally, I am doing only 3 arrows, but with lesser multiple projectile, we get 6. The thing to note here, though, is Split Arrow already has 80% base damage from what we're at, so that's pretty much 20% less damage, and same thing with a 30% less damage. So, it does reduce our damage quite significantly. But instead, if you were to use our fork right here, when you use fork, it will produce 2 arrows from each of the arrows that hit an enemy, which can be very effective and honestly not too bad, especially before you get the chain skill in. It's definitely something to level with. I've leveled with Split Arrow with fork before and found it pretty effective and increased the area effect damage by a ton. So that's one other thing that you can do that's pretty effective with it. I would probably not use lesser multiple. If you were to use one, I'd use fork. You can also do power charge on critical hit, although I would not do power charge on critical hit unless you're specking for crit chance. Make sure that you have probably upwards between a 30% chance to crit before you even think about start using power charge on critical hit. Otherwise, it will be kind of a waste. And also, later game, look for a Harbinger bow. Harbinger bows will always be the thing to do if you're doing crit chance. So, that being said, the other thing that can augment it is crit damage. Crit damage, same thing. That's something you're going to look forward to if you have the bow to do it and you have the passives to do it. It will be augmented by it. Most anything that deals with crit can be augmented or augment any ability. So, and that's nice. The other thing you can do too is added lightning damage. The added lightning damage would make it so if you're an elemental damage user like this bow, it would increase the amount of lightning damage you'd be doing with the bow. Any of your passives that increase weapon elemental damage, any other gems that you're using that have weapon elemental damage on them would also increase. So if you used the weapon elemental damage support gem, it would also increase your damage by a lot, especially with this bow. The other thing you can do too is life gain on hit. Life gain on hit, when you use it, you will gain life back from attacking enemies. Every enemy hit by any of your attacks will give you life. And it gets increased by if you have a fork. So like if you have a fork and life gain on hit, it gets even better. Or if you do chain. Chain also chains any arrow that you end up using. It actually ends up being a bit better than fork in the sense that fork, you kind of have to rely on the arrows hitting something, whereas chain kind of homes in on them. And not only that, chain also bounces 2 additional times. The thing to note with chain always, it will drop your tooltip DPS always. It will always drop your tooltip DPS. Don't let that scare you though, because when you put chain on, you have to realize you have to take that DPS and times it by 3. The reason is you are doing the initial hit, then you're doing the hit right after, and you're doing the last hit, because you're chaining 2 additional times. So instead of just doing 171 DPS 1 time every attack, you're doing it 3 times every attack, and not to mention we're firing 3 arrows, so that means we are shooting 9 arrows every time we attack. That's a big deal. The other thing to note is chain will only bounce to the same target after. I don't think it actually can hit the same target twice. I know it used to be able to, but it's. I think they changed it so you can't. But with that to note, that's pretty much all I have to really say about Split Arrow. It's a pretty straightforward ability. You could do added chaos. You could do a bunch of things. Basically anything that supports that type of stuff. Physical projectile would be good. Faster attacks would be good. Faster attacks would make you attack faster, of course. And then physical projectile would just increase the physical damage on your bow. So make sure your bow is doing physical damage if you use physical projectile. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty straightforward ability. But the thing to note is it does eventually get 6 arrows at level 21, so that means before 21 is 5, and I believe it's before 10 is 4, and then before 5 is 3. So, yeah. Anyways, I hope you liked this video today, and there will be more coming out throughout the month. But hopefully you guys have a good day and stay classy, and thanks for watching.